it's Michelle, and today I've got for you a Pilates workout on the reformer. It's going to be good for about all levels. You can, of course, scale it up or scale it down for your needs, okay? If your machine is higher off the ground than mine, be sure to have your box close by. You'll need it at one point for something we'll be doing off to the side of the reformer, okay? So also have a head support of some kind. I've got a yoga block. You could use a ball or a rolled up towel. We're gonna be side lying at one point, so you'll need it, okay? So put your head support on. Take a seat on your reformer with your feet on the floor, about hip width apart, and then take your hands and just place them on the outsides of your knees. Okay, so sit up tall right on top of your sits bones, and I just want you to give a little gentle press into the hands. Okay, so you feel just enough pressure into the hands that you have a little feedback for the sides of the legs. Okay, now take an inhale. You're going to breathe out, and I just want you to flex forward over the legs, drawing the abs back and keeping that gentle pressure into the hands. Now, as you inhale, I want you to sit back up, extend your spine. You can kind of grip a little tighter on your knees and pull to lift your chest up tall. Yeah, do that again. So you're thinking of really pushing out into the hands on the flex forward. And then I want you to wrap your fingers around your kneecaps, release that pressure, and just pull your chest forward with your hands. Yeah, do that a few more times. So just getting warmed up, connected to our breath, feeling how our abdominals and our lower body can work together. Yeah, let's do this one last time. So pressing out into the knees, fold over the thighs, and just take a few deep, focused breaths here. Yeah, keep that gentle pressure. Make sure you're not tensing up the shoulders. Do that one last time. And then sit up tall and find that spinal extension. So good. Do that one last time. Gentle pressure into the hands. Tuck and roll slightly away from the legs. Find that nice rounded spine. And then just breathe into the backs and the sides of your ribs. Feel those abs connect as you breathe out. All right, now sit up tall, move one hand to the opposite knee, reach your other arm back behind you, and just find a nice twist. So I'm pulling with the arm, looking behind, and then return back front. Let's do that 2 more times to this side. Feel like you get taller as you twist and look back, and then return. Good, one last time. Inhale, get tall and twist, and then let's switch arms. So replace other hand on the other knee, rotate and look back, find a nice rotation, and then return. Good. Leave the thighs pointing straight front as you grow tall and twist. So nice. One last time. So good. And then we'll finish our warm-up with a few little side bends. So just place one hand next to you on the reformer, find a nice lateral flexion through the spine, and then come up tall. And then do the same to the other side. One hand on the carriage, other arm over. Good. A few more times. Adding on this time, once we side bend, you're going to add a little flexion and rotation. Take that back shoulder towards opposite knee, open back up, and then sit up tall. Do that on the other side. Inhale to side bend, exhale to rotate, inhale to open, and come up tall. Good. Do that one more time to either side. Use this bottom hand on the carriage, pulling and pushing to help you twist a little deeper. Good. One more time. Over, twist, open, and sit up. All right. Okay, now that we've got our spine moving a little bit, let's lay down. So I have on, for me personally, I've got on one red and one blue spring, so a heavy and a medium. We're going to be doing side lying single leg, so feel free to scale that spring tension up or down as needed. All right, so come down and lay your ear on your head support. You want your hips back far enough that your bottom knee has room to rest. All right, bring your foot forward, try to line your heel up pretty well with your knee. And then get comfy here. You can grab the shoulder rest for support, and you want to feel your bottom oblique gently come away from the carriage just a little bit, okay? So here we go. Take a breath in. We're going to stomp our heel down, almost like we were taking a step up the stairs, and we're just going to push off the foot bar and then control the carriage back in. Yeah, so start finding your pace here. Yeah, find your straight leg just before you lock into the back of that knee. Yes, and it's our hip too, so you want to make sure the hip gets nice and open. Feel that connection through the glutes. Good. So take a few more here. Really feel like you're stomping into that whole foot. All right, a few more times. Now make sure the ball of your foot is also on the foot bar as well. All right, so now push all the way out. You're gonna hold there once you do and stay. Now keep long. So you almost wanna feel like the leg is from your heel to your armpit rather than your heel to your hip. Feel an opening and lengthening, yeah, as if your leg started right up under your shoulder. Now keep that length and just lift and lower your heel into some little calf raises. And you might not have the biggest range of motion here. That's okay. This is almost more of an exercise for this top side to stay long. All right, now pause with your heel high, and you're going to come in with your high heel and out with your high heel. In and then out. If this for some reason doesn't feel good for you, then continue with the heel down like we did before. Yes. So just a slight lift under the bottom side of the waist. Nothing huge, just to keep the spine nice and level. All right, now push all the way out and hold. Drop your heel and bend your knee. Lift your heel and push out. So we're going to go in a little pattern. The heel lowers, the knee bends, the heel lifts, and we push out. So it's almost like a little circle. We just kind of cycle through. Good. All right, let's go one more time, and then we're going to reverse the direction. So pause at the bottom with your heel down, press out with your heel down, lift it at the top, bend the knee, and then replace it. So we push, heel lifts, we bend, heel lowers. And you can start to flow that together so it's nice and seamless. Whew, you're going to start feeling the glutes on this top side. Whew. Yes, just keeping the knee in this alignment against gravity. That's a lot of work for those outer thighs. So good. All right, now come in and rest for a second. Oh, give that leg a little bit of a break. Okay, next, bring that leg back up, line it up with your hip, get it nice and parallel. Now we've got the option to reach your bottom leg straight. So it's going to give a little extra work for the inner thigh on the bottom side. Give it a try and see how it feels. So with your heel down, just do a few presses back and forth here. Yeah, so try to get that same nice range of motion. Hip and knee flexing to bring you down. Very good. All right, now come in halfway and hold. And I just want you to take some little pulses off of that top leg. Really small, just up an inch, down an inch. 3, 2, 1. Now pause in kind of mid-pulse, so your carriage is away from the stopper. And I just want you to lift and lower your bottom leg and find how high and how low you can go. Now, if you go far enough, you'll hit the foot bar and you'll hit the platform. So just kind of find your range within there, engaging and releasing that inner thigh. Now, we're going to combine this movement with the press of our leg. So when my bottom leg lifts, I'm going to press away from the foot bar. When it lowers, I'm going to return. Yeah, so we get a little extra connection for those adductors on the inside of your legs. All right, let's do that a few more times. Lower, and then the feet can even touch at the top. 2, and then last one. And then come all the way down and rest. Whew. Very, very nice. All right, come on up. And we're going to do all of that on the other side. All right, so turn around. Get your new ear on the shoulder block. Scoot your hips back. Bottom knee bent. Top foot on. Okay, give a slight lift under the waistline. Okay, here we go. So bottom knee starts supported as we push back and forth. Yeah, and again, it really helps to feel like your thigh and your hip go all the way up this side of your body so that we're not collapsing this rib and hip space together. Now press out and hold. Make your spine as long as possible and then lift and lower that heel. Take a few calf raises. Your carriage might move back and forth a very small amount. Good. 3, 2. Now pause with your heel high. Come in on a high heel, out on a high heel. Whew. In and then out. You're welcome to revert back to having the heel down. Now you don't want this the highest heel you could have. You want a slight notch down. Yes, so that ankle is in a good supportive position. All right, let's do that 2 more times. All right, now going into our pattern, press out and hold, drop your heel, bend your knee, lift your heel, and push away. So going in this pattern, lower and bend, lift and press. And the more comfortable you get with it, you can smooth it together. Lower and bend, lift and press. Let's do one more time, and then we're going to reverse it. Yes, so come in, bend your knee, heel is down. Now press out as is, lift the heel, bend and drop it. Push, lift, bend, and lower. Yes, we're working all these muscles around the hip on the back and the top side. Last 2. So good. Last 1. Oh, and then come all the way down. So good. All right, adding in our bottom leg. So reach it beneath the bar. Make sure this top knee is angled right over your second and third toe. Now start your presses back and forth. Make sure your hips are nice and stacked. You've got that slight lift. Yeah, it doesn't mean that we're making a big space necessarily. Yeah, how big the space is doesn't matter. It's just the energetic feeling of a little support from that bottom oblique, all right? Now come in halfway and hold and take some pulses off your top leg as low as you can go. Try to open up this top waistline for 3, 2. Now pause and stay like you're sitting down deep in a chair and just lower and lift the bottom leg. And down. Keep everything else still. So hard. All right. Now when the leg lifts, the top leg will press. And then when it lowers, lower the bottom leg. So everything goes up together, down together, press, and lower. So good. Feel that nice squeeze and hold from the bottom thigh at the top. Do that 2 more times. Last 1. And then come all the way down. Whew. All right, push yourself up to sitting. Whew. Very nice. All right, hopefully our legs are feeling nice and warmed up now. You can take that head support and set it off to the side. Take your red spring off. I'm going down to just a single blue. Okay, you're welcome to do more or less. We're going to be doing arms, but at one point we're going to be doing 1 arm at a time. So don't have it too heavy, okay? So now grab your straps. I have mine clipped in half. Some of you might have double loops. So you're welcome to hold the inner loop. That'll give you a little more range of motion, or regular long loop is also fine, okay? So now, instead of sitting with our legs through the shoulder rests like we typically do, take your legs to the outsides. So you're in a wider sitting position. It might be a little easier to sit up on your sitting bones, and we can feel a little extra connection to the inner thighs on the shoulder rest, which feels really, really nice, okay? It's kind of the opposite of what we did in our warm-up, pressing on the outer thighs. Now, it's like the shoulder rest or those hands, giving us a little bit of feedback, okay? So crisscross your straps so you're holding the opposite side. They'll kind of make an X in front of you. Now reach your arms forward, thumbs up. Have about a palm width of space behind you. Okay, now row your elbows wide out to the side and then return forward. Now, if this feels a little bit light, that's good. So stay here, okay? It's gonna get a little trickier. We're gonna have some longer levers and some single arm eventually, okay? So let's do that a few more times. Even though it's light, we can really feel that squeeze and connection right at the back of the shoulder. Yes, so the inner thighs. Try to remember to keep a little gentle squeeze on the shoulder rests. Okay, now once your elbows get back, they're gonna stay. Now finish with an extension of the arms. Reverse that to bend and return. So I bend and I punch my knuckles out and back, and then I bend and return. A few more times, and you can start to smooth that together as much as you'd like, so it's kind of one fluid motion. Okay, Okay, now what if once your arms get straight, leave them straight and just slowly, slowly circle them to return to the start. Do that again. Bend and punch, ribs over hips, and then as slowly as you can, return the carriage. Good. A few more times. Bend and press, and then slow, 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 slow. One more time. Woo, that slowing it down is not easy. Whew, okay, rest your arms for a second. We're going to reverse that. So now the long lever is at the beginning. So that is sort of fun to try. So flex the feet, squeeze in. You're going to press out with wide arms like an airplane. Bend your elbows and feed through to return. Your back, you set up the fists, the better off you'll be to find that nice bend and return. Good. Open, bend, and through. Whew, 2 more times. Open, bend, and through. Now we see why we didn't want the springs too heavy. Last one. Ooh, and then relax. Okay, good. Stretch forward. Okay, now going into single arm. Reach both arms out. Start really basic and just do a single elbow row and then return. So none of the rotation, none of that extra stuff. Just start kind of feeling where you can set up that elbow one at a time. So it's slightly heavier. Now that one arm is pulling that blue spring all by itself. All right, now bend your elbow and hold. You're going to extend the arm and rotate, look back at it, and then bend and return. Other side, pull and reach, squeeze in with those thighs. And then return. If it's too heavy, hold the longer version of your loops or drop down to your lighter spring. All right, you guys do that one more time, and then we're going to try the long arm circling version to finish. So let's try. Bend and reach. Now return that long arm all by itself. Oh, that's so hard. Other side. Bend and punch. If that's way too much on the single arm, then just stick with the original version. 2 more. Last one. Good. We're not going to do that one in reverse on a single arm. I think that would be a little much. All right, stretch forward. You could try though. That could be fun. Feel free to give it a try. All right, so next, going back to 2 arms. Reach your arms out in front of you. Let's do palms down this time. So thumbs point in, squeeze on the shoulder blocks. Okay, now I want you to bend your elbows just to set them up about in line with your shoulders. Now we're going to externally rotate so the knuckles look up at the ceiling, return them, and then extend the arms. Do that again. I pull and I spin the knuckles up, and then I reverse that to go return. Yeah? Do that a few more times. Set the elbows up where you want them, and then flip to press with the back of the hand. All right, now this time, stay there and do a few extra reps of pressing and folding. Knuckles face the ceiling and then the wall. For 3, try to keep the elbows and that upper arm where they are in space. 2, last one. Woo, and then relax. Oh, very nice. All right, one last thing here. Keep your ropes crisscrossed how they are. Pull your elbows back. Now we're going to work on a little external rotation. So we usually do this in like sidearm series with just a single strap, but having the pull from across kind of enables us to do this with both arms. So elbows close but not touching your ribs. Now you're just going to spin your knuckles out and then return. And it's not going to be the biggest range of motion. So your thumbs are up, knuckles start pointing towards your feet, and then they look at the sides of the room. That's it. Very nice. So small movement. Woo, you're going to start to feel it here pretty quick, working all around those shoulders. For 3, for 2, for 1. Ah, ooh, so nice. All right, I'm going to unclip my loops and put them back to a long single loop. If you've got the same, you can do that as well. All right, I'm going to put mine on the floor just so that they're not making noise. You put yours wherever you would like. All right, so now stay on that blue spring. Here's the time that if you have an elevated reformer, go grab your long box. And here, maybe I'll show you what to do with it. For me personally, with my low machine, I don't need it, okay? But what you'll do is you'll set it up right up against the side of your machine, okay? Somewhere kind of lined up with the back of your carriage like that, and then you're gonna come onto all 4s with it, Okay, so for me and my friends who have lower machines, we are just going to kneel on the floor. So if you need padding for your knees, you're welcome to do that as well, okay? So we're going to come onto our all fours, still with our blue spring on, and you're going to take your closest hand, so my head is pointing towards the pulleys, your closest hand is going to go on the shoulder block. All right, so now you don't want your elbow super high or super low, kind of in the middle, about a 45-degree angle. All right, now from this all fours position, I love this because it really helps us to use our abdominals, but we're not doing a crunch, right? So we get to feel that connection in a different position. So push the floor away, inhale to get ready. Now exhale, you're going to glide the carriage away from you and then pull it back to return. So all throughout, I'm trying to maintain this nice 4-point kneeling alignment, even though I really only have 3 points underneath me, okay? If you scoot further forward towards the pulley end of your machine, the springs will feel heavier and you'll get a bigger range of motion. So play around with that, okay? Now pause at the start. We're going to add flexion of the spine. So as I press the carriage away, I'm going to round my head and my tail and end up in this nice kind of cat stretch position. And then if you'd like, you can come up to an extended kind of cow position here. So I go into the cat stretch, and then I extend and look up. Now, if the extension part is too tricky, if it's not feeling good, then you just stop in neutral, okay? Whew, let's do that 2 more times using your glutes and your abdominals to flex the spine. Try to have it be more abdominals than glutes, and then come in and relax. Whew, good stuff. All right, so now we're going to make it even more challenging by taking another base of support away. If that's too much, repeat what we just did. So you're going to take your leg that's furthest from the carriage and reach it out straight behind you. Now, you want to be like a coffee table and have all 4 of your corners as level as possible, even though that leg is gone. So now, start those arm presses, maintaining your neutral, just like we first practiced. Inhale to bend, exhale to press. All right, now here's the option if you'd like. When you push the carriage away, you're going to bend your back knee, flex your spine, try to go nose to knee, and then inhale, come back to neutral. If you want to extend, you can. I'm just going to come back to neutral for this one. Look down at the floor. Well, you could look up. They're both good choices. Either one, all right? Woo! Now, it's that hip and leg that's closest to the carriage. Make sure it's staying right over the knee. All right, now on your last one, keep neutral and just press the carriage out and try to hold it. Woo, so really stabilize that shoulder. Now try not to move the carriage, and I just want you to tap and lift that foot. Try to have no movement on the springs for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the elbow, set the knee down. Whew, and then take a rest. Awesome, you guys. It's kind of fun to realize we can do all this other stuff with the reformer. We don't just have to be on top of it, right? Okay, so now take your outside foot, that one that was kicked back, and we're going to step it forward. So we're in this kind of single kneeling position. So make sure your box is far enough back that you can have your foot on it, or you could even put your foot off the front of your box onto the floor. That would work as well, okay? So same hand position. My other hand is on my thigh. Now, all we're going to do is lean forward, shift my hips into more of a stretch, and push the carriage away from me, and then bend my elbow and come back. Yes, so it's kind of dual action. We're getting a little hip flexor stretch. We're pushing the carriage much further, so we're getting more tension on the springs. Yes, but it's a lot of work for the abdominals to keep that hip open. Now your thigh and your spine just kind of stay in relationship to each other, right? So as my hip goes forward, so does my spine. All right, now we're going to add a little twist to get a bigger range of motion. So as I push the carriage away, I'm going to rotate away, slide even further, try to look up at the ceiling behind you, and then come back up. Yeah, so this one is just kind of really for our mobility of the shoulder, the spine, the hips, going all together. Really feel that bottom shoulder blade gliding up and away. Do that 2 more times. Up and back. So good. Last one. Awesome. All right. Okay, so now step this knee back. Put your knees together, so inner thighs connected. Now, I want you to make like a little goalpost almost with your hands. So your thumbs are touching, and you're just gonna fit that shape of your hands around the shoulder block, okay? Now, I'm pretty close to the machine without actually touching it. Now, I want you to shift your hips forward so that they're open and extended. Glutes are squeezing. Now just push the carriage out and then pull it back in. Okay, so thumbs are in front of the shoulder block. If your thumbs kind of overlap each other, that's fine. Just get a comfy position with those hands. So try your best to keep your hips squared to the back, even though our arms are off of center. All right, so it's a lot of work for the abdominals to keep that open position of the hip. Now pause. This is not easy, but since when do we only do easy things? Elbows are gonna tap the carriage and then return. So working our triceps. So maybe the carriage doesn't go out as far as it did last time. That's okay. And then up. So still working the abdominals, but adding in those triceps. Let's do 3 more. Really squeeze the back of the arm as they get to straight. 2. Last one. Oh, so good. All right, now keep the arms straight, and we're gonna do flexion of the spine. All right, so even a little bit more intense on the abdominals. Reach the carriage as far out as you can. Now flex your spine, hollow out your abdominals, and return. Now don't sit your butt to your heels. Keep them up, glutes are squeezing. Look at your hands on the reach, and then look at your knees on the flex. Inhale, and then exhale. Whew, a few more times. That is work for those abs in both directions. 2 more. Last one. Oh my goodness, so good. Oh, awesome, you guys. All right, we're gonna try a slightly different variation of that facing the machine. So we're gonna get a little bit more into the side body and the obliques. So keep your knees squeezing together. Put your hands around the shoulder rest in that same way. Now press your hips forward. I want you to saw the carriage out. My back knee is gonna come off of the floor, stack on the other one, and then I'm gonna replace the knee back down. So now if I didn't lift my knee, see what happens? My hips can't move. Yeah, so that is very imperative. So if this doesn't feel good on your knees, maybe try an alternative position or go back to the one that we did before. You can also put a cushion under your knees, okay? Whew, really think of that bottom hip draping towards the floor and then return. A few more times. Go into a range that you're comfortable with. Whew, 2 more times. We lengthen out that bottom side of the waist and then connect. Last one. Whew. Oh, awesome, you guys. All right, we're gonna do one last ab exercise, kind of ab and hip flexor goodness on this side before we do that all on the other side. Okay, so grab your strap that is on the side that you are on, and you're gonna sit down on either your box or on the floor. Now scoot forward so that my people on a box, if you were to lay down, most all of your spine should be on the box and your tail. If your head hangs off, that's okay. So closest leg to the machine is gonna go through the strap, have it go above your kneecap, okay? So now we're gonna lay down. Who knew we could even do this with our reformer? So we're gonna lay down on our backs, either on the floor or on your box, okay? And we're going to come down onto our elbows. If that's not comfortable, then you can lay down and put your head in your hands, okay? But being up on our elbows gives us a little extra help to flex and keep those abs short. So tuck under. So we are super duper imprinted. Press your chest up away from the floor. Now you should be able to straighten your leg on the diagonal right about when your carriage hits the stopper. So that's a good way. Move back if that's not happening, okay? So now I want you to just pull your knee towards your chest and then breathe in and reach out. So for me, when my leg gets straight, that's the moment my carriage hits the stopper. So that's how you know you're in the right relationship. If you're hitting the stopper too soon, it means you need to move further back towards the foot bar, okay? And if you straighten your leg without the spring tension, that's totally fine. That's what I'm doing. Ooh, okay, do that a few more times. So this is major work for the quad, all those muscles that run up the hip into the abdominals. Do that one more time. Squeeze the thigh at the top and then pull. Whew, okay, rest for a second. Whew, it's not easy. Yeah, sometimes we're afraid of working the hip flexors, right? We think it's a bad thing, but no, there's no bad muscles to work, yeah? Strong hip flexors are gonna be resilient. Sometimes grippy hip flexors are weak, so it's good to have strong muscles always, okay? So don't shy away from it. Now, press the shoulders away, and we're gonna lift and lower a straight leg. So reach on the diagonal, keep your leg straight, lift it, and then lower it. Doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be flashy. Just try to keep your legs straight the whole time. And we're imprinted, so those abs are staying turned on. Last two. Ooh, we're earning our single thigh stretch. That single thigh stretch is gonna feel good. Ooh, I'm shaking. Okay. Place the foot down. Awesome, you guys. I think that means I need to do that one more. That was not easy. All right, place your strap back where it belongs. We're gonna do all of that fun stuff on the opposite side. So crawl over or walk over, move your box with you if you need to. Make sure it's securely wedged right up next to your machine, okay? All right, now closest hand on the shoulder rest. Line up appropriately. I've got my hand just slightly in front of where my shoulders are starting. That's what kind of works for me. Get to neutral. Feel like your shoulder blade on the bottom arm is really gliding away from your spine. Now start to press and return. Yes, find a good angle for that elbow. You can see my elbow a little bit better on this side, hopefully. So my forearm is staying pretty well level with the floor. All right, scoot front to back, depending on how close or how far you need to are, okay? All right, so now as you push the carriage out, you're gonna flex your spine, feel those abdominals to fold you forward, and then bend, look up, and go into a nice extension. So this is like cat-cow plus, yeah? So we get that nice resistance and work in both directions, and fold. So good, do that 2 more times. Last one. All right, so leg that's furthest from your machine, that's going to be the one that reaches out long. Find it lengthened at hip height. And then for the first few, just leave your spine nice and neutral. Get the feel of pressing without the support of that leg. Okay, and then if and when you're ready, press the carriage out, flex the spine, bend the back knee, and then lengthen back out long. So really flex, try to get nose almost to touch the knee. And then if you want to also extend and look up as you bend that elbow, totally an option. Let's do that 2 more times. So good. Now, after your last one, leave your spine neutral and the leg long. Push the carriage out and hold. So lock that shoulder dynamically into place and tap and lift that back leg. Try not to move anything else. The less movement on the carriage, the better. 3, 2, 1, and then return the carriage in. Whew. Amazing. All right, so now take that leg that was lifted up behind you and step it forward. If you're on a box, I like to put the foot on the floor in front of the box, okay? So now, hand on top, stack up tall. You're gonna push the carriage away. Your elbow will start kind of soft, go into a nice hip stretch, and glide the carriage out as far as you can go, and then come back up. Yeah, so squeezing the glutes, open the hips, and then the spine tips forward in relation to that back leg. Yeah, so make sure you're not dropping and going further. Yes, like your spine ends at your kneecap down there. So one long line. Now, if you'd like, we're gonna also rotate. So you get a bigger range of motion, glide the shoulder blade up on the ribs, and then come back. Yeah, it should feel good. Look up at the ceiling behind you. Have your other hand on the top of your thigh. So good. 2 more times. Stay connected through the abdominals and then just let your spine move. Last one. So very good. All right, step the knee back, squeeze your knees together, and then you're gonna fit your hands around this shoulder block, okay? Press the hips forward and just saw the carriage as far out as you can. So my feet are pointing towards the foot bar side. My hips are as square to the back of the carriage as can be. So my low body square and the hands are off of center. Last 2. Last one. Now we're going to go into the tricep drop version, or the elbow drop version for the triceps. So this one can be a little smaller range of motion. It's almost like the elbows replace the hands being stacked under the shoulders. And the glutes stay on, spine stays neutral. 2 more. If your elbows don't quite touch, it's okay. Or if they go down and up one at a time, that's also fine. However you can do it, okay? Whew, and then rest. All right, now we press out with our long spine and then we flex to come in. Now you want to keep your glutes as far away from your heels as you can. So it's a rounding of the spine, not a dropping of the pelvis. Oh, so good. Really connect those abs. Feel them scooping up and around. Whew, do that 2 more times. Around and lengthen. Last one. And then relax. Oh, amazing. Okay, we just need to do the side-facing version. So knees together. That's important. Fit the hands back around. So now we're really rotated in the upper body. Now I keep my inner thighs together. My top knee rolls onto my bottom knee, and then it gets to replace back down. So you see this big stretch on the bottom side of the waist, and then you connect to those stretched muscles to come back. Inhale, and then exhale. Yeah, if you're feeling pretty good, try pushing it a little further. If you feel any not good feelings, then stay back and keep a smaller range. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Last one. So good. All right, you guys, take that nearest strap over your thigh, so get it up above your kneecap. So the rope will be coming out the back of your leg, okay? So now come down onto your elbows. Push the floor away, so you're really opening your collarbones. Now, you want to be able to straighten this leg on a diagonal right about when your carriage is at the stopper, okay? So that's how you know if you need to scoot front or back. So here we go. Reach the leg on the diagonal and pull the knee to your chest. So I'm imprinting, tucking under, and my foot that's down here with me is really pushing forward along the floor or your box. Exhale and reach. So good. So kind of retraining our mindset, yeah, that it's okay to strengthen your hip flexors. There's a lot of muscles that are hip flexors, not just the ones we tend to think of as the main hip flexors, yeah. Last one. And then relax. Okay, now lift and lower so the lever stays longer. Reach out on the diagonal, lift your straight leg and lower it. Lift and lower. If it's too heavy, scooch away. So good. Let's do 3 more. Last 2, stay tucked under. Last one, not easy. Okay. Whew. So good. All right, take that strap off. So let's go a little bit heavier. So let's go for a red and a blue because I believe in us, we can do it. If that's too much, drop the blue. Okay, so for my elevated reformer people, grab your box again and put it back in that same long box place next to your machine, okay? And then, so a good way to get set up is to put both feet back against the shoulder rests. Hold on to the foot bar. Now, we're going to step one foot to the floor, but it's not going to be same foot, same side. It's going to be opposite foot to the opposite side. So I'm going to take my left foot off to the right side of the reformer and stand on the floor and then take my knee off, okay? So you're going to get into a nice deep bend. Place both your hands onto the foot bar. Hips are pretty square, and then we're just going to start pressing the carriage out and in this kind of different relationship. Yeah, we're used to kind of same, being in that nice alignment, parallel. So it's good to kind of challenge the body in these different setups. Good. Draw the abs up and in. 3, 2, 1. Whew. Okay, now remove one hand, whichever one, place it behind your back and start pressing again. Try not to rely on that hand on the foot bar too much. Let's do 3 more. 2, 1. Now switch and try the opposite hand behind your back and then go again. Back and forth. Try to keep that nice deep bend in the bottom knee for 2, for 1. Come in and rest. Whew. All right, last one. We're going to keep these heavy springs if we can and go both hands behind our back. Ready? Push and pull. Try to control the return of the carriage. Ooh, that's not easy. Let's do 3 more. Push, pull, 2, 1. Whew. Okay, set your knee down. Take your blue spring off and press back into a little single thigh stretch here in this kind of twisted setup. And then return. Do that a couple more times. Just kind of give that back thigh a little reprieve. Okay, we're going to do one more thing here before we switch sides. So now I want you to take your knee off the carriage, reach it back, and get into a deep lunge. So the back leg is straight. Now we're going to extend the bottom leg, draw the carriage in, pike your hips and try to levitate that bottom foot and then replace back to your lunge. Yeah, now the red spring gives us quite a bit of help. Drop the head, pike the tail, and then lower down. Good. Let's do that a few more times. Getting the weight into the hands. It's all about getting that carriage underneath your hips at the right time. Last 2. And then last one. Whew, put your knee down. Get down into one last stretch. Awesome. Okay, let's do that on the other side. Move your box if you're using one. Cross your new foot over onto the floor. Your hands will kind of move to the left side of the foot bar. Hover the knee up. Oh, that's right. We need our blue spring back on. I knew that didn't feel quite heavy enough. Okay, so back to your red and blue. Drop down. Feel supported around the spine, and then start pressing out and in. Yes, so the lumbar is going to try to stay really still here. We want to isolate this movement to the back leg for 2, for 1. Good. All right, remove one hand, and we'll go again. So try to keep that nice consistent depth through that bottom knee. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, so good. All right, one last time. Remove your opposite hand. Take it behind your back. Push and pull. Good. That's it. Few more. Last 2. Last 1. Whew. All right, now we go no hands. Okay, our last little burst on these heavy springs. Ready, go. Out and in. So good. Almost done. We can do it. Let's do 3 more. 2, 1. Oh, my goodness. All right. Take your blue off and then take a few single thigh stretches in this position. Exhale as you find the stretch. And then return. Yeah, I kind of like doing it crisscross like this because it really makes us put all the attention on that back thigh. Yes, rather than trying to flop over the front leg and make it a hamstring stretch. So this is kind of good. It keeps us from doing that. All right, let's try a couple of our pikes. So bring the knee up, reach the leg long, press down into a lunge with the back leg extended. Now pike up and just let the foot hover right off of where it was placed on the floor. Pike, and then replace. Lift, and then lower. So good. Let's do that a few more times. You want to keep lots of flexion in the hip. So think of kicking the foot almost forward. Last one. And then come on down, knee down. Take one last long stretch. Awesome, you guys. Whew. All right, I think we've earned one last little bit of feet in straps just to finish this out, and then we will be done. Okay, so get your straps on your shoulder rests, and then pick what you'd like. Spring-wise, I'm going to do 2 reds. You can do more or less. All right. Okay, lay down. Just a quick little feet in straps to take us on for the day. All right, so press out with one leg, hook your feet in, reach your legs long. All right, okay, let's just start with some leg circles. So maintaining your neutral spine, breathe in and float the feet up, exhale and circle down. Good. So I'm staying parallel for my whole circle. You can do the same. If you want a little bigger circle, you can externally rotate. If you want to focus on your internal rotation, then you can be internally rotated. Good. Now reverse the direction of your circle. With each circle, try to open and widen those feet away from each other. Good. Feel the ribs melting into the carriage. Very nice. Good. All right. Okay, so now externally rotate. Bend your knees like a frog and then reach long through the ankles and straighten. Good. Inhale as you bend. Exhale as you press. Keep the heels tightly engaged together. Okay, now once your legs are long, you're going to hold, reaching through the feet, and you're going to beat your inner thighs 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Keep the heels touching to bend. Reach out long, open to hip width, and then 3 tight little squeezes, and then lower. Good. Do that a few more times. 1, 2, 3, and lower. Good. Little something for those inner thighs. Good. Last time. In, in, in. Very good. Now let's balance that out with a little internal rotation. So just lift and lower your feet in this turned in place. If for you being internally rotated is a no-go, then just go parallel. Good. And then we'll take a few bend and stretches here as well. So reach on the diagonal, let the knees come in to touch, and then separate and press away. In, and then press away. Good. So we've gotten a little bit of work in each rotation, parallel, turned out and turned in. Yeah, the big toes can rest on each other. All right, let's finish with a little stretch. So externally rotate, bring the bottoms of the feet together, grab the ropes, and just gently pull the ropes towards your chest. You can rock that side to side a little bit. Good. So for our hip flexors, let's stretch them out a little bit. Grab the ropes, kind of push your feet away from you slightly. Now you're going to take one foot, detach it, internally rotate, and bring your knee inside the rope. And then that foot is going to try to touch the floor. Okay. Now, the more you pull up with your ropes, the deeper of a stretch you're going to get. So kind of control it. If you pull down with your hands, you get less stretch. If you pull up with your hands and let that bottom foot slide towards your head, you'll get a bigger stretch. Okay, now just hold here. Think about imprinting, squeezing the glute of that foot that's on the floor, and just try to actively open that thigh. Good. If you want a little bigger stretch, you can take this top leg and try to reach it out to the side. Again, control it with your hands. And then let's try that on the other side. So come back to the feet touching. Internally rotate your new leg. Knee comes in, foot goes to the floor. And then tuck under, squeeze the glute, and draw the hands up to deepen the stretch. Yeah, think of the knee pointing down towards the foot bar. Your opposite leg can reach out to the side. This is a serious stretch, so you keep it in a range that works for you. All right, bring your legs back to the center. Take your feet out one by one. Hang your straps up. And we are all done, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment down below if you have any feedback or ideas for future videos. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please share this video with a friend, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, bye.